Welcome, curious minds and knowledge seekers, to the Uncanny Valley podcast.
Hello.
Today, we're embarking on a fascinating journey. We're looking into a world of ancient mysteries, heroic deeds, and, well, quite a few very specific rules for rolling dice.
Tuckles, yes.
We've been handed the core rulebook for this game called Dragonbane, and our mission, really, is to pull out the most essential and intriguing bits for you.
Indeed. And this isn't just about, understanding a game's rules. It's more about peeling back the layers of what seems like a meticulously crafted system, one that empowers players, you, to weave these epic tales.
Right.
So from its pretty profound historical roots, actually, to its intricate mechanics, we're going to explore what makes Dragonbane tick and maybe why it's clicking with a new generation of adventurers. We want to invite you to really get immersed in its world.
Okay, let's unpack this then. What we have here, our source material, it's a real treasure trove of information. Everything from these very early recollections of playing the original game way back to the real nitty-gritty of combat, magic, and, crucially, how you create your own unique hero. So if you've ever found yourself wondering what truly goes into building a fantasy world you can actually play in, one where every choice feels meaningful and every dice roll holds genuine suspense, you're definitely in the right place today.
Absolutely. We'll be looking at the game's philosophy, how it balances that narrative freedom with clear rules. We'll look at how characters are brought to life quite vividly, actually.
Yeah.
The mechanics of risk and reward, which keep you on the edge of your seat, the powerful forces of magic and nature that shape this world, and even how entire grand adventures are structured.
So a holistic view then.
Exactly. A holistic view of a fantasy role-playing experience that truly invites you to immerse yourself, offering, well, what looks like a streamlined yet deeply satisfying journey.
Okay, so we're starting right at the very beginning with the preface of this rule book. And it immediately sets the scene with this really powerful memory from 1985 that reads, "Sitting by a fireplace in an old house by a lake in the woods, as dusk turned to night outside, listening intently to my older brother vividly describing the fierce orcs facing me, grabbing the strange and magical polyhedral dice, getting ready to fight or die. That's the earliest memory I can recollect of playing Drakar och Geminner."
Wow. That's incredibly evocative, isn't it?
It really is.
Expert, what strikes you most about that specific, almost nostalgic origin story? And how do you see that influencing the core feel of Dragonbane today, especially, compared to games that might spring from a more purely theoretical design space?
Well, what's immediately striking is just how profoundly personal that memory feels. It captures that pure, unadulterated essence of early role-playing, right? The storytelling, the genuine high stakes, and the mystery of those multi-sided dice.
Yeah, the fight or die. Exactly. This isn't just some dry historical note. It feels like the emotional heartbeat of the game itself. Drakar Demoner, which that's the original Swedish name, first came out in 1982. And interestingly, it started as a direct translation of Chaosium's Magic World, an American game.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it didn't stay just a translation for long. Over the decades, through like a dozen different editions in Sweden, it really took on a life of its own. It adapted, it evolved, and it became all synonymous with role-playing for a whole generation of Swedish kids.
Wow.
So this personal origin story and the game's rich evolution in Sweden, it definitely informs Dragonbane's design philosophy now as it returns to an international audience. It's this powerful blend of, foundational global influence from Chaosium, but combined with decades of uniquely Nordic evolution. This lineage suggests a game that values both those classic fantasy elements, but also has a distinct, almost mythic storytelling style. It's a testament, really, to how game design ideas can cross borders, transform, and then come back with this rich, distinct legacy, filled with echoes of those formative fireside adventures.
So what does this all mean for us, the players, then? The creators stated, "Quest was to journey far and wide into 4 decades of Nordic role-playing history and find the essential elements of this game." It really sounds like they were trying to bottle lightning,
Yeah.
to capture the very essence of what made Drakar Demoner so impactful, while also molding it into something fresh and streamlined for the 2020s, using, I guess, 4 decades of game design evolution.
Makes sense.
And the end result, they say, is a fantasy role-playing game full of magic, mystery, and adventure designed from the ground up to facilitate fast and furious play, with very little prep time and adventures that are a breeze to run. Now, for you, the learner, maybe someone who wants to grasp complex systems quickly without feeling overwhelmed, this promise of fast and furious play and very little prep time, That's a massive selling point, isn't it?
Absolutely. It tells you straight up that the game is designed for accessibility and immediate fun. It cuts right to the core of the adventure.
Yeah.
And that promise is crucial because for many, the whole idea of an RPG can feel, well, overwhelming,
Huh?
especially with these dense rule books and potentially lengthy prep times.
Right, the prep time can be a killer.
Totally. So let's break down how Dragonbane specifically defines a role-playing game and how its core conversation system actually delivers on that fast-paced, low-prep experience. Now, while many of you listening are probably familiar with role-playing games, Dragonbane frames its core experience in a particularly compelling way. The book states it's a unique form of gaming that combines tabletop dice rolling with storytelling. But more profoundly, it positions it as this constant conversation between the GM and the players back and forth until a critical situation arises where the outcome is uncertain. Then it is time to break out the dice.
I like that, the conversation part.
Exactly. It emphasizes the collaborative, emergent storytelling right at the heart of it. The roles are really clearly defined. All players, except one, portray adventurers, known as player characters. You, as a player, decide what your character thinks, feels, does, and says. You immerse yourself in their persona.
You're in charge of your guy.
Right. You decide their actions, but crucially not what happens to them that's determined by the game mechanics in the unfolding story. The game master, or GM, on the other hand, describes the world, portrays the non-player characters you meet, and controls the monsters lurking in the shadows.
So the GM sets the scene and the challenges.
Precisely. The GM's job is to put obstacles in your path, challenging you to show what you're made of, but they don't dictate the story's end. That's decided collectively in the game itself. And when those critical moments arrive, you reach for those polyhedral dice, the D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, and the big one, the D20, all included in the box set, ready to determine your fate.
And the setting itself, it has this deep, almost mythic history that seems woven directly into the fabric of the rules. We learn that it was in the oldest times, before the world was covered in forest and iron was tamed by dwarven masters, before the advent of humanity and the mastery of the bread and ale-making arts.
That's quite the opening.
It really is. This isn't just flavor text. It feels like a powerful hook into a world steeped in this primordial conflict. The rulebook tells us the world was then ruled by dragons and demons, which represent law and order versus chaos and madness.
So fundamental forces, not just monsters.
Exactly. They're opposing principles, fundamental forces through which the world and its primeval matter were formed. Their hostility has brought death and ruin upon their ancient civilizations. But kind of surprisingly, this very conflict also created conditions for other nations where humans and other races have been able to flourish.
Huh. So destruction led to creation, in a way.
Seems like it. It's a setting where creation and destruction are just inextricably linked to this ancient, ongoing struggle, giving every adventure a potentially grand cosmic backdrop.
And that idea that anything created by dragons alone is corrupted by demons, and that anything born of demonic will is burned to ashes by dragon fire,
Yeah.
that implies this constant state of flux, right? An inherent vulnerability within the world itself.
Like nothing's ever truly stable or pure.
Exactly. This isn't just a historical note, it's presented as a fundamental law of nature in Dragonbane. It influences the very fabric of existence and suggests this overarching struggle that players might get caught up in, perhaps without even realizing it at first. It means that while new nations have risen and flourished in the wake of this huge conflict, the ancient guardians of order and destruction, the dragons and demons, they will never leave the world to its fate.
Ominous.
Very. It strongly hints that the remnants of these primordial realms still rest in the earth beneath our feet, providing tons of adventure hooks and dangerous encounters for you, the player characters.
Right, so you could be digging in some ruins.
And find something shaped by dragonfire, only to discover it's infested with demonic corruption. Or you stumble upon some demonic cult whose plans inadvertently draw the ire of an ancient dragon. It creates this sense of a world with deep, unresolved issues, where the past is always just beneath the surface, waiting to erupt. It gives every choice you make a potentially deeper resonance within this ancient cosmic struggle.
Okay, let's get into one of the most exciting parts of any RPG. Creating your own character, your avatar in this world. In Dragonbane, this is where you really start to immerse yourself, making choices that define your hero from the ground up.
Yeah, this is always the fun bit.
It gives you a really clear pathway, starting with your kin. You can choose, or even roll randomly, from 6 playable kin: human, halfling, dwarf, elf, and then mallard and wolfkin.
Mallard, like ducks?
Apparently. Each kin has an innate ability and a set of typical names, which helps you flesh out your character's background and immediately sets them apart.
Okay, the inclusion of mallards and wolfkin immediately signals this is a unique fantasy world, doesn't it? It moves delightfully beyond just the standard elves and dwarves setup.
Definitely stands out.
And these aren't just cosmetic choices. They seem like they'd fundamentally alter typical fantasy narratives and player expectations. For instance, think about a mallard character. They aren't just, a person with webbed feet.
Right.
Their webbed feet innate ability grants them increased movement in water, making them natural explorers of watery places, or maybe surprisingly tough in a swamp ambush. But then there's quacking rage.
Quacking rage. Seriously.
Seriously. It gives them a boon and advantage to attacks when they get angered. This isn't just a stat bonus, it's a direct invitation for role-playing. How does a usually, perhaps, flighty mallard react when pushed too far? Does their quacking become this terrifying war cry?
Laughs. I love that.
Right. It could force an enemy to underestimate them, leading to a surprising tactical advantage. Similarly, wolfkin, described as embodying the untamed fury of the wilds, have hunting instincts. This reflects their ancient hunting instincts and unquenchable anger.
So they're fierce hunters.
Yeah, they can designate prey, gaining a boon to attacks against that specific target for the cost of a willpower point. This system really pushes players to embody their kin, not just pick them for stats. It's like choosing a unique lens to see the world through, each with distinct advantages and presumably disadvantages that color both combat and social stuff.
Okay, so beyond your basic kin, you choose a profession. This really defines what you've learned before the game even starts, right? It influences your starting skills and your gear.
Your background, basically.
Right. There are 10 diverse professions listed: artisan, bard, fighter, hunter, knight mage, mariner, merchant, scholar, and thief. Pretty classic fantasy lineup, mostly.
Yeah, covers the main archetypes.
Each one comes with a key attribute, the core stat most important for that job, a list of associated skills, a heroic ability giving them a unique edge, and specific starting gear.
So it sets you up nicely.
Yeah, to give you a taste. The bard, described as singers, musicians, and entertainers, but also chroniclers responsible for preserving contemporary deeds. Their key attribute is charisma, and they get the musician heroic ability.
Makes sense.
The hunter, who live for the hunt and the catch and are quite solitary, uses agility as their key attribute and gets a companion heroic ability, implying like a loyal animal friend.
Oh, cool. Like a ranger type.
Exactly. And mages are unique because their heroic ability isn't a single skill, but their magic itself. They choose a school like animism, elementalism, or mentalism. This suggests a different approach to progression for spellcasters, where their core power is their magic.
Right. It's inherent to them.
And I love this quote they included for the artisan. It just grounds the whole profession concept. Now, this may sound a bit pretentious, but whatever you're making, you must be able to imagine the finished thing and then make it real. That's the whole of it, really.
Yeah.
Well, tools are important, too. Good tools. Bore Turtoff.
Chuckles. That's great. What's fascinating here is the level of detail they provide for each profession, even down to typical nicknames, like Stonehammer for an artisan, suggesting their dedication, or Tailspinner for a bard, highlighting their narrative role.
Yeah, the nicknames are a nice touch.
It's not just flavor text, is it? It strongly encourages you, the player, to think about your character's backstory and personality right from the start. It's not just about what skills your character has, but who your character is.
Yeah, their identity.
Each profession's key attribute links them to a fundamental aspect: strength for physical power, intelligence for smarts, charisma for social skills, further shaping their identity and how they interact with the world. This immediate connection between concept and mechanics makes character creation feel really meaningful, I think.
And then come the personal details that really bring your character to life. Your age, your name, and rolling for your 6 core attributes. These are strength, constitution, agility, intelligence, willpower, and charisma. Standard stuff, mostly.
Yeah, the classic 6.
Each measured on a 3 to 18 scale. You determine these by rolling 4 d6s, dropping the lowest result, and assigning that score. Repeat 5 more times. Then you can swap 2 scores to better fit your concept, which is nice flexibility.
Good to have that swap option.
Importantly, your attributes are also adjusted by your chosen age, young, adult, or old, which also impacts your starting skill levels.
Ah, okay, so age matters mechanically.
Definitely. These attributes then feed into derived ratings like your movement speed, your damage bonus, your hit points, HP, how much damage you can take, and your willpower points, WP, which represent mental fortitude and magical energy used for spells and abilities.
Got it. HP for physical, WP for mental magical.
Right. This whole process emphasizes that your character isn't just numbers, but a living entity shaped by their past, their physique, their mind.
Which raises an important question. Why would you choose to be old? It seems a bit counterintuitive in a game about adventure.
Yeah, I wondered that too.
Older characters start with lower physical attributes. Strength, agility, constitution take a hit, reflecting physical decline. But they gain significantly higher skill ratings in return. It reflects a lifetime of knowledge, wisdom, practice.
Ah, so it's a trade-off. Brains over brawn, maybe.
Exactly. It's a fascinating trade-off that encourages different play styles. A young fighter might be amazing in a scrap, but an old scholar could be invaluable for lore, maybe succeeding on complex knowledge checks where a younger character would fail, even if they're frail in a fight.
That really opens up character concepts beyond the typical young hero. Wise mentors, seasoned veterans.
Eccentric recluses whose knowledge is their weapon. Yeah, it expands the possibilities significantly.
You even get to choose a weakness if you want. These are optional, but they add incredible depth and personality, and the GM can use them to create challenges for you, enriching the story.
Oh, I like optional flaws. Make things interesting.
Totally. For instance, you could be gullible, always believing people, leading to maybe funny or dangerous situations. Or greedy, always wanting more loot, potentially causing party conflict.
Chuckles. That could get messy.
Or maybe foolhardy, always rushing in, or fearful of magic, distrusting mages. There's also kleptomaniac, can't stop stealing small things, or child of the wild, meaning you never sleep indoors.
Never indoors. Wow.
And boastful, always exaggerating your deeds, which could get you into trouble. The clever part is, role-playing your weakness will actually grant you an advancement mark at the end of a session, helping your character grow.
Ah, so embracing the flaw leads to progression. That's smart design.
Yeah, it's where the character really comes alive beyond just strengths. It creates immediate story hooks and role-playing chances, making flaws into ways to grow.
Absolutely. Those weaknesses aren't just penalties. They're catalysts for interesting role-playing and story development. And then there's the memento.
Right, the memento.
A tiny item of great sentimental value. Could be a letter from an old friend, a copper coin from a treasure your parents sought, or even just a strangely shaped stone with personal meaning.
So, not mechanically useful.
The book explicitly says it has no practical use in terms of bonuses, but once per gaming session, you can use your memento to recover an additional condition.
Oh, okay. So it does have a mechanical benefit tied to those conditions from pushing rolls.
Exactly. It's subtle but narratively powerful. It grounds your character, gives them a personal stake beyond just gold and glory. Imagine your character, battered, exhausted, reaching for that worn letter from their sibling, finding that flicker of mental resilience, and pushing through exhaustion for one last heroic effort.
That's really neat.
It's a subtle but effective way the game weaves narrative directly into mechanics, ensuring even a tiny item can become a pivotal part of your character's story and resilience. Makes the journey feel deeply personal.
Okay, so you've built your character, they have a history, gear, maybe a weird memento. Now, how do they actually do things? How do you know if you make that jump, persuade that guard, light that fire? That's where skills come in.
A core mechanic, basically.
Right. Skills represent knowledge and abilities you have acquired, measured on a scale from 1 to 18. Each skill is linked to one of your attributes, which gives you a base chance, and your profession refines that. When you want to use a skill, you usually roll a d20. Rolling equal to or under your skill level means that the action succeeds.
Simple, elegant, roll low is good.
Exactly. Beautifully simple, intuitive. Keeps the focus on the story, not complex math.
And this core mechanic, it's elegantly simple, but really impactful because it emphasizes rolling low. That's common in many classic systems, rewarding precision. But it gets really interesting with Boons and Banes.
Ah, yes, Boons and Banes.
Normally, the GM doesn't set, like, a fixed difficulty number. You only roll dice when things are genuinely challenging and uncertain. But if external factors help or hinder, say you're picking a lock in pitch darkness, that'd be a Bane, or you have masterwork lockpicks, that's a Boon, you might get a Boon or a Bane.
So advantage is advantage, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah. In both cases, you roll 2 d20s. With a Boon, you use the lowest result, making success easier. With the Bane, you use the highest result, making it harder.
Okay.
This system cleverly abstracts away complex difficulty modifiers, replacing them with a more fluid narrative adjustment based on context. And if you have multiple boons or banes, you roll an extra d20 for each and still pick the lowest or highest.
And they cancel out.
Right. Boons and banes cancel each other out 1 for 1. Also, another player or NTC can help you, giving you a boon, though it costs them their action in combat. Promotes teamwork.
Nice. And the stakes are clear. Rolling a dragon, that's a natural one on the d20, means you're particularly successful, an exceptional result.
The critical success.
Right. In combat, maybe increase damage. Outside combat, you might impress everyone, achieve more than intended, or do it way faster. Like you leap a chasm, roll a dragon, you land perfectly, and maybe surprise an enemy on the other side.
Sweet.
But then there's the flip side, the demon. Rolling a natural 20, the demon, means the roll fails regardless of your skill level. Always fails.
The critical failure.
Yep. And it can lead to mishaps. Damaging yourself, looking foolish, making a lot of noise. So that lock-picking example. Dragon might mean you pop it instantly, find a hidden gem inside and press a guard. Demon might mean snap, goes to pick. Loud clang echoes, alarm triggers, goblins everywhere.
Chuckles. Yeah, dramatic consequences.
The consequences are immediate, dramatic, often hilarious. Every extreme roll becomes a memorable story moment.
And the no standstills rule is crucial here for keeping the story moving. It prevents those frustrating dead ends.
Right. That seemed important.
The rulebook explicitly says failure must not stop the story completely. Even when you fail, there must be a way forward, perhaps at the cost of time, risk, or gold, but still a way.
So failure creates new problems, not just stops everything.
Exactly. It's a core philosophy. Ensures the game always moves forward, maintains momentum, even when things go wrong. It's a directive for the GM. Always find alternative paths, consequences. Don't just shut players down. If you fail the lockpick, maybe you break your tools, alert guards, but now you have to find another way. Sewers, bride someone. The failure itself becomes a new chapter, not the end.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting for me. Pushing your roll.
Ah, the push mechanic, yes.
If you fail a skill or attribute roll, you can choose to make another attempt. Try again, but there's a big catch.
There always is.
Pushing a roll means you immediately suffer a condition, which gives you a bane on all future rolls linked to a specific attribute. There are 6 conditions. Exhausted, linked to strength, sickly constitution, dazed agility, angry intelligence, scared willpower, and disheartened charisma.
Okay, so each tied to a core stat.
Right. You choose which condition you get, if you don't already have it, and you have to explain how it results from your action. Fail a strength roll to break a door, push it, maybe you become exhausted. Fail persuasion, maybe you become disheartened.
And these stack up.
Yep. And if you manage to collect all 6 conditions, you can't push rolls anymore. You're just too worn down.
Wow.
This creates a genuinely dramatic choice. Push for success, but risk these penalties and role-playing implications. It turns failure into this narrative opportunity, forcing you to weigh the cost of pushing your limits.
Exactly. It powerfully encourages active engagement with failure, makes setbacks a core, compelling part of the character's journey, not just a dead end. It's like the game says, your failures define you just as much as your successes.
Yeah, I like that.
And then there are heroic abilities. These are special abilities giving you specific advantages. You start with one from your profession. Unless you're a mage, then magic is your thing. You can earn new ones by getting a skill to 18, representing mastery, or, more rarely, through a grand heroic deed the GM recognizes.
So ways to become more awesome over time.
Precisely. They provide a powerful sense of progression and specialization. Let you truly customize your hero's extraordinary capabilities. They're active tools, not just passive bonuses.
And these abilities are incredibly diverse, really letting you feel unique. For instance, Dragon Slayer. An attack aimed at a monster, not just any NPC, deals an extra D8 damage. That's huge against big, scary things.
Changes the whole dynamic against bosses.
The Master Blacksmith isn't just flavor. They can craft metal gear faster, or sharpen a weapon so enemy armor counts as 1 step lower against it.
Yeah.
Indispensable.
Very useful.
Then the musician ability for bards lets them instill courage in your friends or fear in your foes with music, giving boons to allies or banes to enemies. Battlefield control through song.
Nice utility.
But some are really provocative, like Weasel.
Ah, yes,
This ability lets you, if you're attacked and have another player character within 2 meters, activate it to let the attack hit that character instead of you.
Chuckles.
Well, wait, you can just push them in front of the bus, basically. How often do you see players actually take that risk?
Chuckles. The weasel ability is definitely a game changer for table dynamics. It's a brilliant example of how Dragonbane embraces both heroism and moments of calculated self-preservation. Often leads to unforgettable stories.
I bet.
It highlights the strategic and narrative depth of these abilities. They're not just passive bonuses, they give distinct tactical options, encourage specific role-playing moments. Whether it's the sheer power of a dragon slayer turning the tide, the utility of a master blacksmith gearing everyone up, or the morally dubious but narratively rich weasel creating drama.
Yeah, that weasel one is something else.
These abilities provide that tangible sense of progression and specialization. They let players truly customize their hero's capabilities, making each character feel unique and capable of grand deeds, reinforcing that identity they chose at creation. They push you to think beyond simple attacks, consider how your unique talent shaped the outcome.
Okay, so life as an adventurer is, as the book bluntly puts it, hard and often violent. So combat is central to Dragonbane, and it's designed to be fast, dynamic, keep everyone engaged.
Keeps that fast and furious promise going.
Right. Combat happens in rounds, each about 10 seconds of intense action. Start of each round, everyone involved PCs and enemies draws an initiative card, 1 to 10, setting the precise action order. On your turn, you get 1 action and movement.
Simple structure. 1 action, 1 move.
And the action list is pretty comprehensive. Lots of choices. Melee attack, ranged attack, parry an incoming blow, dodge out of the way, pick up items, equip armor, first aid, rally allies, break down door, pick lock, use item, activate ability, cast spell, help someone, or even take a round rest to recover willpower points.
Round rest. Interesting. Trade your action for WP recovery.
Yeah. There are also free actions, minor things like drawing a weapon, dropping prone, shouting a few words. Don't use your main action. And reactions like parry or dodge happen out of your turn, but replace your regular action next round. Adds another layer of tactical response.
That clear structure ensures fluidity, keeps combat flowing quickly. And the free attack rule adds a really interesting tactical layer, discouraging casual movement.
Yeah, explain that one.
The rule states, if you are standing within 2 meters of an enemy and then voluntarily move away from that enemy, you must make an evade roll, a skill check against agility. If it fails, the enemy immediately gets to perform an additional melee attack against you.
Ouch. So no just running past people easily.
Exactly. It makes positioning crucial.
Yeah.
Incentivizes strategic movement, thoughtful engagement, makes you consider the consequences of disengaging. Do you risk that extra attack to reach an injured friend or stand your ground? That one rule creates loads of tense tactical decisions each round.
Combat isn't just hitting things, though. The game details damage types, slashing, piercing, bludgeoning, and how armor protects you. Specific types, leather, chainmail, plate. Armor rating subtracts from incoming damage. Helmets add more head protection.
Standard stuff, but important details.
But what happens when your hit points hit 0? The game is clear, unforgiving. 0 HP means you drop to the ground and risk dying.
Scary part.
On your turn, each round after that, you make desperate death rolls against your constitution. 3 successes mean you recover 1 HP, stabilized, back from the brink. 3 failures mean your character tragically dies.
High stakes.
And rolling a 1, a dragon, counts as 2 successes. But a 20, a demon, counts as 2 failures. Adds intense drama, sudden reversals to those desperate moments.
So you could be saved by a lucky roll or doomed by an unlucky one.
Exactly. This death roll mechanic creates sustained tension. You're not instantly out, but in this desperate, dice-driven struggle for survival. And thankfully, other players can use healing, skill, or magic to save you. Teamwork is vital.
And even if you survive hitting 0 HP, you might face severe injuries with permanent effects. Adds grim realism, leaves lasting scars, physical and psychological.
Oh yeah, like what?
Imagine getting a broken nose. Looks bad, sure, but also gives you a bane on awareness rolls for a week. Harder to spot traps. Or a scarred face, permanent bane on performance and persuasion rolls. Makes social stuff harder.
Permanent penalties.
Some are worse. Teeth knocked out permanently reduces performance persuasion skill levels. Distinct visual and functional handicap. Severed toe permanently cuts your movement rate by 2 meters. A constant reminder.
Wow.
There's even amnesia. You forget who you are, who the other PCs are, must be role-played, can last days or a week. Incredible narrative opportunities for the GM there. These long-term consequences make every wound feel impactful, provide more story hooks, makes the journey unique.
And beyond direct wounds, the world's full of other hazards. The environment itself is a foe. Simple darkness affects attacks, movement. Encountering fear attacks from monsters' forces, willpower rolls, you might get scared, pant uncontrollably, even flee in panic.
Monsters that cause fear are always nasty.
The rulebook also details intricate mechanics for poison, lethal, paralyzing, sleeping, with varying potency levels needing different antidotes, and environmental factors. Falling damage, detailed swimming and drowning rules making river crossings an adventure, and the slow drain of hunger, cold, sleep deprivation.
So resource management and survival are key too.
Definitely. This detail makes the world feel incredibly alive, dangerous. Survival isn't just fighting monsters, it's preparing for and navigating the environment itself.
And then, of course, there's magic.
Yeah.
It's described not just as power, but as a basic force of nature that exists throughout the physical world as well as beyond it, implying it's inherent, not external. Dragons, demons, gods, spirits are all equally dependent on magic. Links it back to that ancient conflict.
So everyone uses it, in a way.
Seems so. For players, 3 main schools, each with a distinct philosophy. First, animism believes everything in the world has a spiritual presence, power lent by nature's spirits. An animist might talk to forest spirits, call on the river.
Like a druid or shaman type?
Kind of. Second, elementalism. Magic described via the 4 elements, wind, water, earth, fire, constituting everything. An elementalist literally shapes the world.
Classic elemental mage.
Third, mentalism. Magic comes from within, through self-control and discipline. A mentalist might use psychic influence or attacks.
Psionics, basically.
Yeah, offers not just different spells, but different ways of interacting with, perceiving the magical forces.
When casting spells, you spend willpower points and roll against your skill in that school. Spells have power levels 1 to 3, determining WP cost, often scaling effects, higher power, more potent spell.
Makes sense. Risk versus reward.
Mages also learn magic tricks. Minor spells, always prepared, cost 1 WP, always available. Spells can be prepared in memory, limited by intelligence, for quick casting, or cast from a grimoire, a spellbook, though unprepared casting from a grimoire takes twice as long, requires focus.
Okay, preparation matters.
But here's the distinct, thrilling risk that makes magic truly dynamic in Dragonbane. If you roll a demon, a natural 20 when casting, you cannot push the roll. Magic goes awry. There's a risk of something going terribly wrong.
Yep.
See the optional rule for magical mishaps.
Ah, the mishaps. This is where Dragonbane's magic truly shines with unpredictable chaos and consequence.
Sounds fun. Or terrifying.
The magical mishaps table, triggered by a demon roll, is a brilliant narrative tool for GMs. Ensures magic feels powerful but never entirely controllable. Adds delightful or terrifying uncertainty to every spell.
Give me an example.
Imagine you're casting a truth spell, roll a demon. Suddenly, for the next few days, you vomit a frog the moment you tell a lie.
Les, no way.
Yes, way. Hilariously awkward social complication. Or maybe you cast a spell to conjure gold, roll a demon, and now any gold or silver you touch withers into dust. Dramatic personal setback.
Oh, man.
Even more dramatically, your magic might go wild, causing you to turn into an animal. Cat, fox, goat, wolf, bear losing speech but keeping your mind for a short time. Think of the role-playing. Trying to warn someone as a barking dog.
That's amazing.
And for the ultimate GM headache, your magic could attract a demon from another dimension showing up soon to cause trouble. Turns a simple spell into a new, terrifying adventure hook. The fact that casting magic can lead to turning into an animal or attracting a demon adds this thrilling layer of unpredictable chaos. Reinforces that magic is potent but never fully controllable. This constant dance between player agency and unpredictable outcomes really defines the Dragonbane experience. Makes every spell a moment of potential triumph or hilarious catastrophe.
Okay, so what kind of creatures will your player characters be facing? The bestiary outlines a wide range of horrifying beasts lurking in the ruins and forests. They have unique traits, making them distinct threats.
Different challenges for different monsters.
Right. Monsters have ferocity, meaning they get multiple turns per round, acting more than once, potentially overwhelming you. They have size categories, determining how much area they block, making positioning crucial. And what's really terrifying, and streamlines combat, is that monster attacks succeed automatically.
They don't roll to hit.
Nope. The monster just hits. Then you roll to parry or dodge. Shifts the defensive burden onto the players.
Whoa, that changes things. Makes monsters feel much more relentless.
Totally. Some also have resistances or immunities to damage types or conditions like fear, forcing players to think strategically.
And the contrast between designated monsters and regular non-player characters, NPCs, is quite telling, even for creatures that seem equally dangerous.
How so?
For example, orcs and goblins, while tough, are classified as non-monsters. Means they use traditional combat rules, skills, vulnerabilities like PCs. They're also nocturnal. Gademion roles take damage in direct sunlight. Clever environmental weakness.
Ah, okay, so they play by mostly the same rules.
Right. A demon or dragon, though, classified as monsters. They operate on a different, more primal, terrifying level. Forces of nature. A demon can inflict devastating curse effects, vomiting frogs, turning gold to dust, blindness, amnesia, turning you into an animal, even instantly aging you.
Yikes.
They can also possess a player character, taking full control of their body, horrifying internal conflict. Dragons have powerful area attacks like Dragon Roar, Fear, and Dragon Wind. Throws you bludgeoning damage.
Sounds epic.
Ghosts are unique. Immaterial, immune to all damage except magic and fire, but surprisingly persuadable with a Bane, offers a non-combat solution, but their touch of death ignores armor, causes damage, and scared condition. Manticores have a tail strike with paralyzing poison and a spike rain area attack, forces players to scatter.
So monster really means something mechanically different and scarier.
Exactly. Different rule sets, emphasizing their status as major, often supernatural threats, demands different tactics, makes them feel genuinely more dangerous.
To face these threats, you need gear. The game details everything. Weapons and armor with grip strength requirements, damage types, durability, musical instruments for bards, even mundane containers like barrels for loot.
All the adventuring essentials.
Beyond that, a charmingly detailed list of services. Bath at an inn to heal a condition, hiring a bodyguard. Items have supply ratings, common to unique, weight, specific weapon features giving tactical benefits.
The level of detail seems pretty granular.
It really is. What I found particularly charming, you can buy perfume 10 doses for a boon on charisma rolls, help make a good impression. Or marbles to throw at enemies, force an evade roll, maybe trip them.
See?
Marbles.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
This level of detail lets you, the player, truly equip your character. Choices directly impact gameplay and immersion, not just abstract numbers. Adds delightful realism and tactical choice to mundane items. And that highlights the game's breadth. Not just combat. Integrates mundane survival, interaction, even luxury. World feels tangible, lived in. Everything from a saddle for your horse to a master-crafted sword has its place, its mechanics, impacts capabilities role.
Right. Supports gritty dungeon crawls, social intrigues, wilderness expeditions.
Exactly. Underscores that Dragonbane supports a wide range of activities. Every piece of equipment, however small, can meaningfully contribute, enriches narrative and tactics.
Finally, we get to adventures and campaigns. The book empowers you to create your own stories, laying out a simple but effective framework, structure without stifling creativity.
The GM's Toolkit.
Every adventure starts with the quest, the hook, a letter, legend, map, desperate NPC request sets the goal. Then the journey travel, which can be an adventure itself, potential mishaps, mosquito swarm, sprained ankle, quicksand, requires skills like bushcraft for pathfinding, avoiding getting lost.
Makes travel meaningful, not just a transition.
The climax occurs at the adventure site, where you spend most time, filled with challenges, combat, obstacles, traps, a final boss, and treasures. The GM's role is emphasized as collaborative. Engage the players, roll dice openly, play with the players. Teamwork, shared story, not GM versus players.
Good philosophy.
They control minions, groups of lesser NPCs, streamlined for fast play, bosses, important NPCs, more HKWP, heroic abilities designed not to die too early, ensures epic confrontations.
And those random tables provided for generating quests, journeys, adventure sites. Fantastic tools for GMs wanting quick content or inspiration without hours of prep.
Yeah, they looked really useful.
For example, just rolling. You could get a quest where one day the characters come across a messenger from Carvago, a mysterious mage who wants to examine a magical artifact called the Blue Zurak. Quest leads them on a hard and miserable journey through a soggy bog, maybe encountering a dangerous swamp creature. Destination: a forgotten tomb. Inside, ambushed by D8 bandits and D6 jeering harpies. To reach the goal, face a deadly challenge, a strong poison left behind. Finally, defeat the Devastator, a powerful minotaur guarding the artifact.
Wow, a whole adventure just from a few rolls.
Exactly. Shows the potential for infinite stories, high replayability, makes the game accessible even for new GMs or those needing quick ideas, underscores that low prep, high fun commitment.
And ultimately, the game embraces the idea that, well, Dragonbane is set in a dangerous world where player characters will sometimes die.
Doesn't pull punches there.
But it's not the end. The rulebook states having to part with a player character can be sad, but it is part of the game and something that opens up new possibilities.
It emphasizes the high stakes inherent in this kind of heroic fantasy, how even loss can be a meaningful, impactful part of the ongoing story. Reflects a core belief. True adventure often comes with significant risk. The narrative evolves beyond any single character's fate.
Yeah. A character's death could lead to a revenge quest for the others.
Or the introduction of a new hero with totally different skills, reshaping the campaign. This ethos ensures every triumph feels earned, every challenge overcome carries genuine weight, makes experiences unforgettable, allows new narratives to emerge from the ashes of old ones. #outro.
Well, we've traversed ancient battlefields, peeked into the minds of Mallards and Wolfkin, delved into the intricacies of D20 rolls, dragons and demons, and even conjured a few magical mishaps like vomiting frogs.
Chuckles, can't forget the frogs.
Dragonbane truly seems to offer a rich, immersive, and genuinely thrilling role-playing experience built on this deep legacy of adventure.
It really does. It's a testament to how meticulous design, combined with a deep respect for a game's heritage, can create something both fresh and timeless. The emphasis on collaborative storytelling, dynamic mechanics, and a world brimming with danger and discovery, it ensures every session holds potential for memorable tales. From hilarious fumbles to epic victories.
And maybe even noble sacrifices.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you listening? It means that whether you actually pick up the dice yourself or just imagine the possibilities, worlds of adventure are waiting to be explored, sometimes just a D20 roll away. What kind of hero would you create in a world shaped by this ancient conflict of dragons and demons? A world where every roll matters and every choice has a consequence.
Indeed. And as the rulebook itself states, as sure as night follows day, the time will come again when dragons and demons contend for power over humanity, nature, and the eternal mysteries. Perhaps your story, your character, will be part of that next great conflict, adding a new chapter to the sagas of Dragonbane.
Thank you for joining us on this in-depth exploration. This has been the Uncanny Valley Podcast.
Thanks for listening.
We'll catch you next time.